Hey there everybody. So in this video we're going to cover how to build a net revenue retention report in Salesforce. So it's basically going to be representing the percentage of revenue that's getting protected for each month, looking at the amount of revenue up for renewal and comparing it with how much revenue was actually renewed, whether it was less than that amount or more than that amount. The end output is going to look something like this, which is just a month by month percentage that is going to be above zero and hover close to around 100% if your renewals team is doing a good job. It will be 0% if there was zero revenue retained, or if there was nothing up for renewal. So let's get started. To build this, you said to click into this instructions here, which we have in our Notion Wiki ebook. And if you click New Report, you go to Opportunities, Start Report, and let's start with the filters. So we're going to copy what we have here. So we'll do all opportunities, all time, where opportunity status is closed, and record type is going to be equal to renewals because we're only looking at renewal opportunities here. Then what we're going to do is add the report fields. So I'm going to just clear this, and then let's start with contract start date. We'll do account name, opportunity name, ARR up for renewal, and revenue movement amount. So we have our fields here. The next step is to group the rows by contract start date. So we can bring this up here, and we want it to actually be contract start month. So in order to do this, you have to click this little down arrow here and say group date by calendar month. And finally, let's go ahead and add our ARR calculation. So we have to add a summary level formula here, and we'll call this NRR. And the formula we're going to input is going to be the ARR up for renewal plus however many dollars were increased or decreased on this current renewal. So that's revenue movement amount. So let's first insert ARR up for renewal, and then plus the total amount of revenue movement. And we want to compare that with the total amount of ARR that was up for renewal. So we'll divide that sum by this number, and that's going to give us the NRR. We'll output it as a percent, and let's just do 0 decimal points to keep it clean. Validate this. Okay, this looks good. Let's apply it. Okay, so it looks like we've gone ahead and calculated NRR properly. So what you'll see here is the records that churned. So this one churned, and you can actually see that the NRR for that month is 0%. So even if we just add this column in, revenue movement type, I'll bring this up here. So there was only one renewal record up for renewal that was worth 6,000. 100% of the revenue churned, so it's showing 0%. In this case, 18,000 was up for renewal. They added 6,000. So the total ARR for this opportunity is now going to be 24,000. And if you add these together and then divide it by the ARR, you're going to get above 100%. And you can kind of see how this is playing out for each month. There's only one opportunity per month, so you can kind of see what's going on. And then if we want to add a chart, let's add a simple line chart, which is just going to show the ARR for each month. And we want to show the NRR, sorry, not ARR, for each month. There we go, and this looks good. So let's go ahead and save and run this. We'll call this net revenue retention monthly. Save it in public reports. There we go. And that's how you do this. Pretty simple. Usually what would happen is there would be multiple records per month, and this sort of becomes an aggregate view of how you did each month for all the records up for renewal. But this is just to show you how you actually go ahead and calculate this number for your renewals team. So it looks like we're good here. And yeah, that concludes this section of the ebook. So we covered how to add the relevant fields so you can actually determine contracted ARR changes like this, turn up, sell down, sell renewal. And then we also covered how to build a report in Salesforce that's calculating net revenue retention. to give your team an understanding of how they're performing when it comes to renewals on a monthly basis. In the next video, we're going to be covering what to do if there is a change mid-term. So if you have an active contract, let's take a look at some of these. So here's an active renewal opportunity. Let's look at one of these closed won ones. So here's our currently active contract. We're between the contract and start date and end date here. So what would happen if they just decided they didn't want to pay us the rest of the term? How do we actually handle that? So it's kind of complicated how to do that, but that's what we're going to cover in the next video. And we'll get into things like screen flow reporting, so on and so forth. But for now, let's leave this at that, and I will see you in the next video. And as we've been saying throughout the series, please go and check out our Notion wiki ebook, which is linked in the description below. Cheers.